Thank you. Mr. Cram for 5 minutes.
And thank you to all the witnesses for being here today and for participating in the most recent audits. So my question is about the Forests and Climate Change Report, which was released on April 20th of this year. Throughout the report, the program is consistently referred to as the 2 Billion Trees Program. So I'll start with an easy question for the department. How many trees is the 2 Billion Trees Program supposed to plant?
The commitment to plant 2 billion trees is a whole of government commitment. The 2 Billion Tree Program will plant the lion's share of those. Probably 1.85, 1.9 billion of those 2 billion trees.
Okay, so the 2 Billion Trees Program is not going to plant 2 billion trees. That's no longer the intent of the program?
The intent all along was to include, because it is a whole of government commitment, the intent all along was to include trees that were planted not only under this program, but also under other government programs where the planting was incremental to business as usual and where we could reliably count them. The Low Carbon Economy Fund was always part of the plan. We intend to ensure that a lot of the benefits that we report on, including the GHG estimates, are only based on those trees where we are getting sufficient information to be able to calculate that, which would largely be under the 2 Billion Tree Program.
So why is it called the 2 Billion Tree Program? Why not rename it the 1.5 billion Tree Program or the 1 Billion Tree Program?
It's a good question. For us, it was trying to be clear about the intent and the whole of government commitment to try to rally interest among Canadians. And we've certainly seen that in the applications that we get from Indigenous governments, from cities, from smaller municipalities, conservation areas, individual Canadians wanting to organize their communities around planting 2 billion trees. We've certainly, it's worked as a rallying point around that commitment and trying to make that commitment happen.
Okay, so on page 6 of the report, it says that only 16.5 million trees were planted in 2022, which is well short of the goal of 60 million trees for that year. But I would like to draw your attention to a CBC article from August 2nd with the following headline: Ottawa announces its 2 billion tree program is surpassing its targets, not well short of what was in the auditor's report from just 3.5 months earlier. So could you explain what was the cause of this miraculous turnaround in just 3.5 months?
So I think there were two things. One was that the audit period ends a few months before the audit report is actually released. So it would have been released prior to our getting a lot of the reporting from the previous planting season or the 2022 planting season. 2023? 2022. So for us, when we are putting all the numbers together in August, we're including planting seasons from 2021 and 2022, as well as the LCEF numbers from 2021, from planting in 2021 that we were able to get reporting on.
Okay, and the LCF numbers, that's the Low Carbon Economy Fund program?
Yes, it is. Sorry about that.
Not the 2 Billion Trees program?
Yes, it is.
The Low Carbon Economy Fund is part of the 2 Billion Trees program?
We had always designed for the Low Carbon Economy Fund to form part of the 2 billion tree commitment and the commitment to plant those trees, because the Low Carbon Economy Fund was going to be ensuring that tree planting by the provinces and territories was incremental to business as usual, and they were going to receive from the provinces and territories sufficient reporting for us to be able to rely on the numbers that they had.
Okay, so in Minister Wilkinson's press release from August 2nd, it says, quote, "The planting of trees through the Disaster Mitigation and Adaptation Fund," which is from Infrastructure Canada, "and with the provinces and territories to plant millions of new seedlings under the Low Carbon Economy Fund are captured in this effort." So I guess I would ask Mr. DeMarco, why were trees from these programs not included in your audit of the 2 Billion Trees program?
Thank you for that question, and we're still considering whether to do a follow-up audit because of the vast change in numbers from what our audit team was provided and what was publicly released in the summer. If I can turn your attention to Exhibit 1.3, I think this will help clarify things. So, as you know, in an audit, the department signs off on the factual accuracy of our materials at the draft stage before we provide it. This exhibit showed what they had planted in 2021 and what the estimate was for 2022. They did not say we have the equivalent of what you would call trees receivable or accounts receivable from the Low Carbon Economy Fund in the number of 50 million, which would have doubled the numbers in here. They did not say, oh, we're just waiting for the numbers. Hold on, we'll have this. We were told this is what they were planting, and we were told that the program was about incremental trees, not double counting trees from other programs. We fully recognize, if I can just finish on this, Mr. Chair, if that's okay.
Yeah, just a couple.
We fully recognize that the constating documents, the originating documents for the program left it open, that they could double count from other programs, but we specifically asked them what they were counting for 21 and 22, and there was no word about these other 54 million trees that they found since then.
Okay,